Right. Check, check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I had a little bit of downtime, so I figured might be good to finally get this done, which I promised a long time ago. So this stream will be sort of similar to the previous stream where I did a review of my own video, but this time I'm actually going to do a review of a friend's video. And you know, it's totally casual. Um, just want to see what we can get done in a little bit of time here and help out a friend, pretty much. That being said, let me close some stuff here so it doesn't throttle anything too much. PC was working hard a little bit there. All right. So yeah, so this match right here, I think I'll just kind of briefly skim through and see what kind of pops out as I'm going through it. That's usually kind of the approach I take. You know, if there's a rally I see where I do something really good, or a rally where I see that I kind of struggled, things like that. And then I'll sort of follow up on that, you know. 1 second here. All right. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So basically, you know, as I said, kind of skim through. The first parts are, you know, the matches are usually pretty slow. Both players are kind of warming up here. Maybe I can put the volume up just a little bit. Usually try not to, as that can cause some issues. You might not be able to hear me well, for example. So let me lower that a little bit. All right, let's see what the balance is like here. Oh, actually, he's kind of muted anyway, so how about that? Okay, so, right. Let's get back. Okay. So you know one thing interesting here is already right off the bat, right? This happens to me too. It could be because, you know, his knee is a little bit injured here. But really not taking a more of an extension with that front leg. And trying to take it a little bit earlier, right? As opposed to waiting for it to come down that late. We can meet it earlier, basically, is the sort of approach is what I'm trying to talk about here. You want to take it earlier, as if you take it later and you don't do a good lift, right? Just like this scenario here, you have a lot less time to react. So really the key is taking it earlier so you can get it to the back high and faster, and so you have more time to go back to the middle and get in position for the next shot. That's just one thing that already kind of came to my mind. And, you know, it could be a habit as well. But my guess is, you know, maybe the knee is hurting, so it's not comfortable to really step forward with it. So it's understandable that he's taking it a little bit later in that case. Now here his left foot is forward, so technically he can lead with his left foot here. But if it's too much on the right side, then he would need to lead with his right foot, right? So this one's looking good. He's taking it much earlier, putting a lot of pressure. On that contact point there, you saw that a shot was really flat. And that's basically because he waited too long, right? And also the positioning was a little bit off. He was too far back. So when you get a flat shot, usually it's because you hit it too late, right? Or, well, your angle is could be wrong. You could be getting at the high point, but your angle could be wrong. And also, in this case here, I think if you're too far back, and this happens a lot too, if you're too far back, you won't get into a good position for a good quality shot either. Your timing will be a little bit off. So he was too far back actually. So you have to actually hit more in front of him. And so that restricts a lot of angle as well. It becomes more like a drive when it's more in front of you. But he did set himself really well because of that retrieval and the first shot right here. And that's just the really important thing. So if he could do this on both sides, he's going to win a lot more points for sure. Because he has fantastic net shots, really good net shots. Tumbling, good quality net shots are really difficult for anyone to deal with. Quick footwork to the back there. Very stable. Yeah, super clean footwork to the back there. Quick, going to the next spot. See where his shot went. So his shot was too close to the middle, I would say, just because it didn't add enough pressure. It was quick, but not enough pressure, and so he got counterattacked here, actually. Now he's on the back foot. But still, almost catching a perfect backhand. Yeah, so he did the split step there, and then, you know, turning around here is not ideal, but he was still in a good, stable position to get that shot, so still pretty good. Too bad it was a little bit out. Let's see how he does here with his right foot now. Taking it early. It's going to play a big role. So again here, he goes, I think, a little bit too far behind the bird. So his quality is not going to be as ideal, actually. It's kind of strange because you do want to get behind the bird, but when you're too far behind, your timing kind of gets thrown off, and the quality also goes down a little bit. So not to mention now you have to cover even more distance when going forward if the shot is not good enough, right? So in this case, it was still pretty close to this guy, right? And so he would have had to cover that almost full court back to the front, and that's really challenging to cover. So one, he's too far back, maybe. And two, that drop shot was just not sharp enough, right? Or it needs to be further away from the opponent to really give yourself time to get in position again. Ooh, almost there. Let's see what happened here. Ah, yeah. Just happened just because the flick serve went to his forehand and he was quick to get this shot. It's super hard for him to do anything else here, though. Even if he were to do a cross shot, he wouldn't be able to do the best kind of cross shot. So, yeah. So he was sort of predicting it, and he was in position, but just too fast. More quick than expected. Ooh, trick shot. Drop here. Hold. Redirection. A little high, but still really tight. Set himself up really well. And then a really flat smash, which, although it may not look like a good smash, it's very practical because it's fast, it's to the body and the top left shoulder, right? And that's difficult to block because you're sort of expecting everything when you're defending this situation. You're expecting everything else except a body shot most of the time. And so that's actually really good that he nailed it in that area. And even if he were to block that, he could follow up very confidently to finish off the shot. So kudos. Really well played there. Good serve. Nice backhand. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Very stable, well controlled. Staying super low to the ground. Quick. Really good. I would say he could still go for forehands, but I think he's like me in that we love going for our backhands instead. It's just a bad habit of ours. But if you could do it, you could do it. Again, the flat shot. I would like for him to be able to get more angle in his shots, and I think that's just because he's too far back behind the shot sometimes. Or hitting it too late, like in that situation too. We're tall, you know, both he and I are very tall. We can easily reach it much higher, hit it much earlier. Even right here, we could already be sort of getting ready to swing. And now when he's going to contact his arm, his elbow is going to be bent, so it's going to be less ideal. Still, it was a punch clear, so that was pretty good. Catching him, his opponent off guard, in the backhand side, that was a great shot. Setting up for a smash. But if you see here, he catches that still very flat, right? And it really has to do with I think the contact, the flick, where he's not really hitting downward as much with his wrist. It becomes more like a drive motion forward. So I would like him to sort of think of it as this kind of smash kill. If he wants to do more angled shots, maybe he's intending to do the flat shots like this. Maybe this is his intention. But I would like to see more angled shots. Really think of it as just drops, but fast, right? Fast drops. And then following through with the arm. And I'm sure he knows that. But he got the win. He got that point, which is really good. Good flick serve. Again, this is sort of the risk of going for that backhand, right? As we love going for the backhand instead of kind of doing the more appropriate thing, which is to use forehand overhead. And you know, when you flick serve someone, you don't really expect the clear back. So this is a really smart choice by his opponent here, causing him to sort of, you know, suddenly get sort of in an unexpected situation, and so he was caught off guard. And especially in the backhand side, when you're caught off guard, you're usually going to play a not so good quality shot. You're going to mess up. And so this is kind of what happened here. Right? So ideally, after this, he would really push off so his right leg goes back, and you could do that forehand overhead and really thunder down straight down the line, because that side, the left side's really open now, or even the backhand side of his opponent. After you do a clear from this overhead clear, the backhand side of that person usually opens up as well, so it becomes a good spot to attack. But here, you know, after turning around and trying to go for a backhand, it's quite lethal for yourself if you're not in a good position. Good trick shot there, really catching him off guard. Good angle on that one, but we're seeing that it's not enough because see, he just did what I was saying earlier. So okay, well, first of all, that angle was pretty good. He set himself up really well. Good angle there, but not enough to side, so his opponent could catch it pretty easily, right? Now he's sort of in the defense, but then he gets another chance to attack after pushing to his backhand side. And this is kind of what I said, when you come from the backhand side, and it applies even if your opponent does the backhand or forehand overhead. Here he did a backhand. Attack the backhand again. That was pretty good. But amazing retrieval by his opponent. Great split steps, quick feet. Great drop too, but yeah, he backed up. He backed up thinking, oh, he's not gonna redrop it, but impressively, his opponent redropped it there. I would say he should mix in maybe a little bit more overhead drops. As his opponent is more often waiting for clears or smashes in the neutral game. Quick shot. Yeah, so this is the risk of lifts that are not high enough or quick enough. And this is a fantastic, look at that. That is actually very acrobatic. So that was fantastic for sure. And he hit it to the body, and that's a really hard spot to hit to, the armpit area of the racket arm. Really difficult to block that shot, so that was really good. I would say maybe one thing to help for this would just be racket up. you know. If he had your racket up, his shot wasn't that angled, so it was more flat. If you just have it in front of you, you could just block in front of you to the net and counterattack the opponent. Backhand again, forced to go for the backhand, but looking pretty stable, except for that one. And he was already kind of cheating on this side too, the backhand side. Unfortunately, he didn't really take advantage of it. He was already there, so he could have actually turned around to do the forehand overhead. His racket's also very low, which is very risky after serve. So I would say he has to really keep that racket up after serves more often to get this shot faster too. It's a very good quality shot though, despite all that. Again to the body. I would say not enough pressure. These are good. Good length on those. Good mixing up the drops. But yeah. Just too much, too far. You see that? Too far. Drops, you have to really cut off a lot of the forward motion. It's a small little flick with the wrist. And then in that case, he's also moving back when he's doing that. So it's also more difficult to follow up when you're moving back while doing a shot. It was a good idea though. I like that he's mixing it. Yeah, it's just too far, too much, too close to that guy, his opponent here. Oh, that was a good shot. What happened there? Ah, he saw an open spot. Yeah, so when your opponent is too much like this, right? The right leg forward, left leg back. One really good opening is that backcourt forehand side. It's a difficult shot to get to when your opponent is serving like this on the backhand side. In this case, the right hand from our perspective, right? You see that? So he's like very, very, very committed. Racket down, two on top of that. So this is a very difficult shot for him to get. So he could, you know, Vincent here could really exploit that. He could exploit that if he wanted to more. And he saw that opening and he really took it. So that was great. And if you're wondering how to deal with that as a player, right? If they're starting to pick on that side for you, instead of being too much like a skateboarder, as he was here, we want to be more actually equally distributed from the middle line, our feet, so we can go in any direction, including that backcourt side, which is a very big opening area. In fact, you really don't want to leave that too open on the after serve. Nice backhand there. Good drop there, although he's getting that late. What happened there? He lost balance. You can see he was losing balance. So core and leg strength right there, back strength, all needed. Wasn't enough to get that shot. He should keep his body upright as much as he can to be more in a stable position getting this drop. Luckily, oh, that was out or in? Yeah, in. Yeah, so well played by his opponent. The pull and push. Push, pull, push. What he could do here, Vincent, is after this drop, if he sort of predicts this lift, if he has his racket up already, he can actually jump back and quickly strike it down. It's a difficult shot to do, but, you know, at some point you start to recognize the pattern of the push and pull, and you can sort of predict that. Little mistakes. Happens when you start to lose a little bit of focus. Interesting flick serve here. I wonder why he chose that. I guess because Vincent was leaning too forward a little bit. Late reaction. Tried to get out, give him some time to get in better position. He was already expecting that. His opponent here, Aiden, was expecting it. He was already cheating by going to the backhand side a little bit more. You could see that. See that? Um, Vincent could try to do, instead of hitting to that backhand side, you could actually try to do a straight one. That could be a good option. Or just drop it to the middle. That also neutralizes things. But that one didn't go far enough, so it was difficult to block. It's interesting that Vincent starts off also with his racket more to his left hand shoulder, as that really cuts out the ability to really take it early in front of him, full extension on the return, the serves. If he could really extend his arm out forehand instead, he can take shots and do things. He has a ton of options basically if he could do that. He could do pushes, drops, lifts, smashes. He can do so many things. But now he restricts himself a little bit more to the backhand, which is a little bit more limiting in what you can do. But good control there. Good serve. Oof. What happened here? Alright, flick serve. Clear again to his backhand. So that seems like a little bit of a pattern there. Whenever he gets flicked, he would clear to the opponent's backhand. And then Vincent couldn't get enough. The angle is good, but again, it's too close to the opponent. Too easy. The right idea. The right idea. So he started to predict the push and pull here, which is really good. And that's the exact kind of like flick for a smash that he really needs to get more often, I think. So that was the right idea. But he's tall, so he doesn't really need to jump, essentially, as much. Still, that would have been a really good take. Again, he found the opening on this side. I like that he sees that very big opening for that in that guy's serving stance and preparation after serve. Great drop, good clear. Turning around for backhand, a weak backhand. He got lucky a little bit there, but that was a good clear. He needs to just commit to the forehand overheads a little bit more. Or in this situation of the half court, it's a little bit awkward to get a good clear for the backhand. It's a little bit past the half court, but you know, cross backhand drops or straight backhand drops are pretty good neutralizing shots too to keep the pressure. Oh, good. That was a great backhand drive. Quick shot. All right. Good flick serve again. So he found out that that far backcourt forehand corner seems like a vulnerability for Aiden. Nice drop there. Clean. Very good follow-up. Again, setting himself up. Still too close to the opponent. But, you know, he's staying consistent up until that moment. Got a little too... Yeah, too greedy. Wanting to finish the rally there, unfortunately. Yeah, you can see when you're jumping back and you're not used to the jump smash as much, right? You can see the difference, the distance between himself now and the shuttle, and also the timing gets thrown off too. You essentially reduce the time you have of swinging by jumping up. It also, you basically end up sort of hitting it later than usual, and so that's kind of what happened here, and the angle wasn't as optimal as it could be. So it is a little risky to sort of jump smash on people's lifts that are not good quality, just because the timing will be different than usual. But he set himself really well in that game. Ooh, beautiful drop. Good control. He was late too. Yeah. Ooh, cross drop. There's a cross backhand, which... So now It looks like Aiden is starting to see. Okay, now he's targeting my forehand backcourt corner a little bit there. So he's getting a little bit more ready, which means that Vincent could maybe turn, mix up things. Like, oh, you think I'm going to hit there? Then I'm going to mix it up to another spot. I like that idea, though. A little bit out, unfortunately. Trivor. Looks like Aiden kind of... Oh, what a net game there. That was fantastic. Beautiful quality. Nice clear. Yeah, that was great. Very good controlled. Again with the quick backhand, but unfortunately this time it did not work because, yeah, it's just a matter of quickly putting up his racket if it's not fast enough and not angled enough. On top of that, he's turning away and landing right when his opponent hits a shot, which is really risky. So I would say this shot is quite risky for those reasons. When you're turning and then you're landing, and by that time your opponent's hitting, that's very risky. So instead, he should really be sort of balanced and on the ground when he's playing his shot. This shot. Unfortunately, little mistakes. Again, pushing to the back, really getting him to make him beautiful. Yeah, well played, well played. Catching it early, getting into the back court again. That forehand backcourt corner is definitely a vulnerability, and you could see it. Oh, just barely. Yeah, not enough. The landing was too... He landed and couldn't really get power to go forward enough quickly. So it's a risk when you're... Essentially, it looks like a lot of the shots he's doing, he's really falling back as he's playing the shots, which leads to not being able to follow up what happens after, right? And so that's kind of thing that you have to keep an eye out for when you're playing your shots. So yeah, so Vincent, great game. I think I hope you learned something from this, and I hope everyone who watched this video, watches this the VOD after it gets uploaded, learn something new as well. And yeah, if you also want to ask any questions about your own gameplay or submit a video for just a brief review, I can do that too, just for fun. But I don't have much time, but I think we'll see how it goes. And yeah, this is Anthony. Nice to see you, and thanks for watching. Take care. Please like and subscribe. Bye bye.